Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We are going to begin our service this evening on page 142 by singing Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Now I'd like to invite up Andy Pelletier to offer us some announcements from the board.
May I?
Please.
Nope, may I use this? Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Andy Pelletier, representing the Board of Trustees. I'd like to welcome you to the temple this evening. Tonight's Kiddush is in loving memory of Toby Chabenberger from Cheryl and Barry Himmel. Join us for Shabbat Yoga, Body and Soul, for a rejuvenating start to your Shabbat morning tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Everyone is welcome. Next Friday, June 12th, is the annual meeting. Yay! There we go. Beginning at 5:15 p.m. prior to the Shabbat services. Following the services, please make your reservation for dinner by calling a temple office. Next Saturday, June 13th at 10:30 is our adult B'nai Mitzvah class.
Of which Andy is a part.
And Emily. We hope you join us when we celebrate with our 6 B'nai Mitzvah students. There will be a congregational luncheon after the services. Reservations must be made by this Wednesday, the 10th, in the temple office. Ooh, now here's a fun one. The temple is now offering Mahjong beginning June 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. Cost is $5 per person per session, which includes a light dinner, snacks, and drinks. The evening is open to all from beginners to Maj masters. We'll have instructors available for the first few sessions for our new players. Maj cards are available for purchase in the temple office. Please contact the temple office to reserve a card if needed and your space for Wednesday the 17th. There will be only one session in June, followed by 2 in July and 2 in August. Consult the temple bulletin for future dates. And finally, the 37th annual Interfaith Blood Drive will be held at Grace Lutheran Church on Saturday the 27th from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. You can sign up by calling 1-800-RED CROSS or contact Alice Applebaum. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. There's one more, but it would have made it 2 pages, and we didn't want to do that to our announcer, which is this Sunday, June 7th. We have a program here from 3 to 5 p.m. About civic engagement, how we as Jews, this is an interfaith experience, and Jewish people and those of faith can promote democracy. And so during this afternoon, we are going to have conversations based on 2 texts. The first, there's an excerpt from the Declaration of Independence, and the second text is the New Colossus, a poem written by Emma Lazarus, which is on the base of the Statue of Liberty. And this is going to be table conversations. We already have 65 people signed up, many of you in this room, and we can certainly have more. So if you go back to your temple talk from Wednesday, there's a link in there for which you can sign up. You have to register before coming, but I really hope that you will consider coming. It's supposed to rain in the afternoon, so no gardening, no golf. Just come here. We'll have a nice time. On page 127, our meditation as we begin our Shabbat service. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We'll turn now to page 120 and invite up Sam Adler and Freeman Brown to light our Shabbat candles. If it's easier, I have it on this then. Jude, you face everybody. Okay. There we go.
Here we go. I need to get my glasses. Sorry.
No rush. We're here.
We have all the
Shabbat.
time we need.
That's right.
That's right. Okay. I'll hold it. You don't have to hold your own mic. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Beautiful. Would you like to light the candle? Inu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu, lahadlik ner shal Shabbat. Blessed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shal Shabbat.
This evening, Emily and Sam have the honor of lighting our Shabbat candles in honor of their 35th wedding anniversary. And I wanted to offer a blessing to you on this special occasion. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, our God of our ancestors, bless this couple on this anniversary of their marriage. May you reflect with deep gratitude upon the years that have passed. Many and varied have been your experiences since that moment. May you recall the joys that have sweetened your lives. May you be thankful for the strength that allowed you to weather the storms that shook you to your very roots. God, you have been with this couple through their years together. So may you continue to bless them with your presence today, the months ahead, and the years ahead. And we can all say, Amen.
Amen.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Bavakasha. Thank you. It's already a sweet Shabbat because we got to say that blessing and wish them much more time of happiness together. We'll turn now to page 138 and sing together Lecha Dodi. We will join together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, we'll stand and face the doorway to welcome in the metaphorical presence of Shabbat.
Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 penei Shabbat. Penei Shabbat nekavela. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'diburecha ishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'litila ya la 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 lecha dodi ya la 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 likrat kala ya la 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 penei Shabbat penei Shabbat nekavela ya la 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 lecha dodi ya la 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 likrat kala עטרת בלה. גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יא אלי אלי, יא לה 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 לחדרי, יא לה 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 לקראת חלה, יא לה 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 בני שבת, בני שבת נקרא ולה, יא לה 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 לחדרי, יא לה 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 לקראת חלה, יא לה 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 בני שבת, בני שבת נקרא ולה.
Chatzi Kaddish is on page 144.
Yikada v'yikada shemei rabba, ve'almadi v'rachi rutei ve'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei decho beit Yisrael, bagala bagala uv'izman kariv ve'imeru amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevorach le'ala mula me'amaya yibarach yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitrom mitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekutsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran belma ve'imeru amen.
Please rise in body or spirit on page 146 for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha avta, Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מהותו לעולם ועד.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We read together in the English on page 154. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 158, Mi Chamocha. The following page, we have our prayer for comfort as we go to sleep at night, Hashkivenu. In English, blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ushmor tzeiteinu, uvoenu, lechayim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם. ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת וינפש, שבת שבת וינפש, שבת שבת וינפש, שבת שבת
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Rise together now, page 164 for the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avo B'imachot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ferofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Amunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bagevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit Umachaya, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman Atal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, Ukadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalaluhu Chasala, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Page 172, we have our blessing for the holiness of the day.
Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu, Ritzei, Ritzei, v'Mnuchateinu, Kadshenu be'mitzvotecha, v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha, Saveinu mituvecha, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet. Yalai, lalalai, 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 lalalai. Yalai, lalai, lai, 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 ai, lai, 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 lai. Yalai, lai, 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 ai, lai, 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 lai. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet. V'anchileinu, Adonai Eloheinu, be'ahava u'b'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha. V'yanuchu Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Page 177. together at the top of the page. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam Ki Ata Melech Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom V'tov Beinecha את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך.
Page 677. We have our prayer for healing this week. It's called El Na Rafana La. Those are the words. There are a few English words that you don't have in here. This verse comes from this week's Torah portion, Baha'alotcha, and in it, Moses is asking God for a prayer of healing, really, of his sister Miriam, for whom at this time in the Torah portion, her body turns to all white scales. And Moses is asking for God's help to restore her to her former healthy self. And so we honor this. This is part of this week's Torah portion by singing this version of our healing prayer this Shabbat. And in our community, we are praying for the healing of Jan Dolgen, Deborah Dolan, Marla Levine, Dr. Steve Shaw, and Sarah Taub. If there are any others that we'd like to mention aloud, I would encourage you to do so. Thank you. May all those we mentioned aloud and in our hearts find hope and healing very soon. Amen. We'll now take the next few moments for our own personal prayer. When we come back together, we will be on page 180.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable before thee, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer, my rock and my redeemer. Amen.
A few years ago, nostalgia became an industry. Nostalgia sold, especially for people in the millennial generation, of which I am a part, even though they call me a geriatric millennial. Suddenly, everyone was buying records again. Television networks were rebooting shows that we had already watched once. Teenagers were dressing like it was 1998, which I know is not that long ago, and adults were spending real money to collect Pokemon cards, Legos, and toys they had owned as children. Streaming services discovered that one of the safest bets was simply giving us more of what we had already loved. And there's a reason for that. Psychologists have found that nostalgia increases during periods of uncertainty and anxiety. When the future feels unclear, we often find ourselves looking backward. We remember what felt familiar. We remember what felt safe. We remember a time before the decisions that we face today. My youngest son graduated from preschool earlier today. Before the graduation, the Gone Moms text thread was full of squishy pictures of 2-year-olds starting preschool on their first day. It was adorable and made me think back to that time. But it was also a huge time of transition. And as we know with 2-year-olds and many other year-olds, that transitions are really hard. This transition to elementary school, of being a big kid rather than a toddler or a preschooler, will be another big transition. Of course, I was proud and a few tears leaked out of my eyes. And I'm also so grateful that he is the kid that he is today. And I was also remembering that tiny backpack and the version of him that no longer exists. We can slot almost any occasion into this idea, and it might pull us back to the same feelings and conclusions, whether it's a 35th wedding anniversary or a plaque dedication for someone that is no longer with us. We share memories and visit moments that shaped us. There is nothing wrong with nostalgia. In fact, Judaism depends on memory. The Torah constantly tells us to remember. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt. Remember Exodus. Remember Sinai. Remember to blot out the name of Amalek. Remember the generations that came before you. But this week's Torah portion reminds us that memory and nostalgia are not the same thing. In Parshat Beha'alotcha, which is this week's Torah portion, the Israelites are deep in the wilderness. Egypt is behind them, and the Promised Land is ahead of them. They are free, but freedom turns out to be harder than they imagined. And what do we do when things are hard? We begin to complain. This week's Torah portion, verses 5 and 6 of Numbers chapter 11, it says, "We remember the fish that we used to eat in Egypt for free. The cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. But now our gullets are shriveled. There is nothing at all, nothing but manna to look at." This is one of the most human moments in the entire Torah. We can notice what they remember. They remember the fish and the cucumbers and the melons and the onions. But what they do not remember is the slavery. They don't remember making the bricks. They don't remember Pharaoh. They don't remember the whips. They just remember the menu. Such a Jewish thing. The Torah understands something profound about human beings. When the future feels frightening, the past starts looking better than it really was. It is not that Egypt was good. It was that the future was frightening. The Israelites were not actually hungry. God is feeding them manna every single day. What they were hungry for was certainty. They are hungry for familiarity. They are hungry for a world they understood, even though that world was deeply flawed. The fish, of course, was not free. Nothing in Egypt was free. And yet that is how memory works. When it becomes nostalgia, we begin editing. We smooth out the rough edges. We remember the comforts and forget the costs. I think about that as I watch the conversations happening right now throughout the Jewish world. Last week, at a conference called Recharging Judaism, held by Rabbi Amiel Hirsch, rabbi of Stephen Wise Free Synagogue in Manhattan, one of the central debates that occurred during this conference was whether Reform Judaism should ordain anti-Zionist rabbis. Rabbi Hirsch's view is, of course, not. However, there was a response by he's not a rabbi, Dr. Andrew Rayfeld, the president of Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion, who says that to bar students from entrance based on their belief would quiet inquiry and conversation about the nature of Zionism. If we know anything about the Jewish world, you can imagine the think pieces and the Facebook posts and everything going on about this topic, about this debate. On the surface, it sounds like a debate about Israel, but underneath, it is something deeper. It's a debate about memory. What kind of movement do we remember ourselves to be? Which part of our story do we emphasize? And which part do we leave out? Many people have pointed out that classical Reform Judaism was often skeptical of Zionism. The famous Pittsburgh Platform of 1885 rejected the idea of Jewish nationalism and saw Judaism primarily as a universal religious mission. But history has changed that conversation. And what changed it was not internal. The Holocaust changed it. The creation of the State of Israel changed it. October 7th once again has changed it for many Jews, and it is still being rewritten since the attack on Temple Israel in Detroit and the temple in Jackson, Mississippi, and Bondi Beach, etc. I'm not interested tonight in settling that debate. What interests me, though, is the question underneath it. How do we remember our past honestly? Because nostalgia is not limited to ancient Israelites. It's not limited to millennials collecting childhood toys. It is not limited to debates about Zionism. We all do it. We all tend to remember what was comforting and forget what was complicated. We remember the good years and forget the challenges. We remember what worked and forgot what didn't. We remember what we loved and forgot what it cost. Judaism is not opposed to memory, quite the opposite. But the Torah insists that memory must be truthful. The goal is not to live in the past. We can be wistful about the past, but the goal is to learn from it and move forward. The Torah's answer is not to abandon memory, it is to tell the truth about it. The Israelites remembered the fish, but they forgot the slavery, and they remembered what was comfortable, but they forgot why they left. The fish were not free. And until the Israelites could remember that they could not take the next step forward, we are given relatively few days in this world, and not one of them is guaranteed. We can be wistful about the past, but we still need to look toward the future, despite how uncertain it may seem. Shabbat Shalom. We'll turn now to page 586 and rise together for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו כחומונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 591.
ונאמר ואדוני למלך כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. This moment before the Kaddish, we dedicate the plaque to Toby Goodman Shabenberger. And in June of 2025, Toby Berger, Cheryl Himmel's older sister, was laid to rest in Boynton Beach, Florida. And tonight we dedicate a plaque in her memory on the memorial wall in the presence of all of those who loved her. Toby was born on November 11th, 1936, to Lakey and Sam Goodman, and grew up here in Toledo. She was confirmed at this temple, a graduate of DeVilbiss in 1954 and Michigan State in 1957. She and her husband were the original owners of the Griddle restaurant on Reynolds Road, and she spent many years teaching English, drama, speech, and debate at Cardinal Stritch and Maumee Valley. She and her husband raised 5 children. Toby's connection to this congregation was real and lasting. In the 1980s, she founded our youth group. How do we say it? SETI? Is that how we called it? I imagine Shomer Emunim, Temple Youth, when her own daughter was in high school. She also served as a coordinator at the Jewish Community Center in Sylvania, organizing a trip to Israel for seniors and staying active in Jewish communal life after moving to Florida. There, she earned the Athena Award for Women's Leadership, wrote and published as an author and columnist, and volunteered as a child advocate in the foster care system. She and Cheryl were very close, and it is in that spirit of love that we gather tonight. May her memory be a blessing to all who knew her and to this community that she called home. Amen. This week in our community, we are remembering those who have been laid to rest in the most recent 30 days, for whom their family is in the period of Shloshim. Jeff Began, Nancy Bonner, Stuart Friedman, Marilyn Jacobs, Alana Levy, and Barbara Roth Truhaft. We also remember those for whom their yahrzeit occurs this week: Israel Applebaum, Herman J. Aronson, Corky Becker, Bernard Bellman, Toby Shabenberger, Leah Britz, Pearl Buntman, Gladys Buskey, Lisa Doran Chester, Dr. Robert Cooper, Sue Coughlin, Sylvia B. Epstein, Mayor M. Epstein, Nathan Fagan, Harvey L. Fain, Jack Feldstein, Shirley Fischler, Dorothy G. Fox, Irvine Frankel, Ruth Levitt Friedman, Molly Shaw Green, Joseph Gross, Lillian L. Helburn, Dr. Albert Jacobs, Bernard Kalnez, Delphine Kosek, Ryan Margulies, Art Milstein, Celia Stockstill, Ruth Stoller, Mildred F. Strasburger, and Donald Weatherford. Are there any other names we'd like to mention this evening? We'll rise together for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah be'alma divrach yurteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei tehol beit Yisrael ba'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam omei amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh V'yatadar, v'yataleh, v'yatalal, shemed, kedusha, b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. Our closing song this evening is on page 625, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nira Le'ein Nasa B'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Join us in
Shalom.
the hallway for Kiddush and Motzi.